Hi, welcome to my podcast, Talking Travel with Wendy. I travel the globe interviewing really cool people in small hospitality and tourism businesses. Join me each week as I discover and share something or someone new with you. You can find more at www.travelwithwendy.net. And remember, it's always an adventure when you travel with Wendy. We are on our way to the Jesse Owens Birthplace and Museum, and it is in rural Alabama, the little town of Oakville. So it's only about an hour's drive from Huntsville, Alabama. Great day trip. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Talking Travel with Wendy. I am here with my new friend, Nancy Pinion, who is the director, is that right?
Correct.
Of the Jesse Owens Birthplace and Museum here in Danville in North Alabama.
Correct.
And I'm so excited to talk to her as I've been researching the life and legacy of Jesse Owens. So thanks so much for joining me here today.
I'm excited.
And Nancy is a wealth of information, and you and your husband began this project.
Actually, I was not involved from the beginning so much as a support system for my husband, Mr. Thurman White, who lived in the community, was retired from the military, which might interest you. I was teaching school, and
Locally,
my husband,
school?
yes, I taught 4th grade at Hatton Elementary, and my husband worked for Alabama Cooperative Extension Service.
Sure.
And Mr. Thurman White, a black gentleman who lived in the community and was retired military, came to him and said that they had purchased this land, a few of them in the community. He had used actually his own money to make up what they needed. He wanted to honor Jesse at his birthplace in some way, and he came to James and wanted to know if he could help him.
Yeah.
That was in the early 1990s.
Okay. So not that long ago in history.
Well, 23 years or so.
Yeah. It probably seems longer because you've been in the trenches.
It's like I've had another career after my career.
Yeah.
So anyway, they actually ended up becoming like brothers. There was a monument in the community which had been provided by a local representative. They got a lot of support from government officials, from businesses, corporations, churches, just people in the community. And the project, actually Auburn University helped with the original plan, came and did surveys, and Atlanta Olympics, was to be in '96, the head of the U.S. Olympic Committee. And his name was Leroy Walker. And so my husband and some of the committee made a presentation, and then they had a conversation with Leroy. They had a model of what the park was to be like when it was completed, and showed it to Leroy and talked about this was Jesse's birthplace. And he said, well, I knew Jesse. He said, I knew he was from Alabama, but I did not know where. And James said, well, if you could get the torch to go about 17 miles off the planned route, you could have the torch come right through his birthplace, Oakville. Well, in a few weeks, they formally announced the route. It had been planned, but part of it was changed to go through here.
Oh, wonderful.
So we continually got calls, just bombarded with how can we contribute.
Right. Excellent. So then the support started to come in.
Right.
Yeah.
And rather than we don't have enough money, it was like, how are we going to get this done?
How can we get started? Right.
So so that was an exciting time.
Yeah, and that was 96.
96.
And when did you officially open doors?
Okay, we did have parts of the museum, parts of the park open. The museum was not open.
Okay.
The visitor center was done. We had the replica home done. This was a shell.
Okay.
And they did park the torch here for 30 minutes. We fed the Olympic entourage. And we had,
Do you remember who the runner was? Didn't they have a runner?
Well, That's another story.
That's another whole story.
Yeah, so James thought it would be great to have Stuart Rankin, who is Jesse's grandson,
Oh, wow.
to bring the torch in. It was rather chilling because he looked so much like his granddaddy.
Oh,
And
how powerful.
yeah, it was. It really was. I don't think everybody realized how well. I mean, I just had chills all over me
Yeah.
because you felt in Jesse's ear. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And Stuart brought it in, and then James and Thurman took it out,
Oh, that's
which was so appropriate. Thurman was very dedicated to this park.
I'm just so glad. So tell me more about the museum. Who
Okay.
helped design it? And
It was designed by a firm in Birmingham. The interior design display in Birmingham designed it, and James, my husband, and the designer and another committee member flew to Ohio State. The Jesse Owens family had arranged for them to look at all the archives. They had given everything they didn't keep to Ohio State.
okay.
And so they went through boxes and boxes and boxes and came to an agreement what they could bring down here. And then the firm designed it around that.
That's
But of course, the first thing before that was for them to fly to Chicago and meet the family and get permission,
mhm.
because you don't use Jesse's name without permission.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right. They've been very supportive over the years. In fact, we consider ourselves family now.
Yeah.
So our most common reaction when people come in and come around this corner is either this is a hidden treasure, or I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine.
Because we are out in the
it's-
middle of a rural area.
I know.
With cows around.
I intentionally filmed that.
Oh, did you hear?
I said, just to let you know how rural we're going in Alabama, check out the scenery as we drive. You know, because we were, and then to be behind the tractor, that was hysterical. It was like all the pieces came together to fit. So what can people expect when they come in?
And they come to be surprised, to be pleasantly surprised, I think. We are a small museum, but we're packed full of information about Jesse. We have a sports gallery where you will see some of his memorabilia, replicas of his uniforms, Adidas, which were wool, which is surprising.
I can't even imagine.
I know.
Yeah.
And Adidas replicated his shoes. The gentleman who was a shoemaker in Berlin, later his firm became Adidas.
Oh, wow.
So they replicated the shoes in Germany.
Okay.
His running shoes and some of his medals are here. We have those on display. A lot of information about his high school career, because he really excelled
Yes. Yeah.
beginning in high school.
Yeah.
They recognized his talent. The sports gallery is just one little section here. So we have the timeline of his life. We have an amazing, I guess the most popular thing is the documentary Return to Berlin.
Okay.
Jesse,
I'm excited to watch that.
I know, it's a favorite, and it was done in the early 60s, but Greenspan was the director. And Jesse narrates it himself. He went back to Berlin, he stands in the stadium.
Really?
Right. And so you quickly see how articulate he was. So he talks about the events, and they show footage, original footage from the 36 Olympics.
So what are the hours with COVID and your recommendations for health, safety, with what's going on in the world right now?
Okay.
For coming to the Birthplace Museum.
Yeah, it's certainly been a learning experience. Well, we are trying to follow CDC guidelines. We were closed for a couple of months. Now we sanitize multiple times daily. When you come in, you're expected to wear a mask. If you don't have one, we have one for you.
Okay.
Okay, we sanitize our pens after you sign in the register.
Yes.
We sanitize everything, including chairs people sit in, just as soon as they get up and move about, just so in case somebody else comes along.
Right.
So I think you can feel as safe as, you would anywhere, right? We have, take all the
And what are
precautions.
your summer hours or the hours?
Okay, well, our hours are 10 to 4,
Okay.
Monday through Saturday, and Sunday 1 to 4. And I'll say that's right now.
Okay.
So I would say call and check. Check on Facebook, because I do keep that up to date. Or if you call and we don't answer, I do have our current hours on the phone.
Okay.
On the voicemail.
I had such a great time interviewing Nancy. Join us as we walk around the rest of the park and see the memorial and the replica and more.
I am Sylvester, one of the 10 children of Cleveland and Emma Owens. The family lived here for many years as sharecropper family. In 1922, the family moved to Cleveland, Ohio in search of a better life.
You can see more of this sharecropper's house as well as give a try at beating Jesse Owens' famous jump.
There was 3 men out here for an hour and a half one day. I left, went home, ate lunch, came back. They were still jumping. I mean, adults. They were on a construction
So you can
crew.
come out here and try to jump Jesse's jumps. Here you go.
Oh,
Right
man.
there.
It's been everlasting flame. And Miss Ruth lit it to begin with. And then we got the first bill and it was $800.
Oh goodness. This is a beautiful gift shop that she has put together here, and some video footage and books and everything. If you're doing any research on Jesse Owens, you can find it here. And some fun stuff too. Look at the Frisbees.
For joining us here today on Talking Travel with Wendy. I'm so glad to have met Nancy and sharing a lot of information about the Jesse Owens Birthplace and Museum. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have much more content on my website, travelwithwendy.net, and you can also support this channel by becoming a Patreon patron. The links are below. Remember, it's always an adventure when you travel with Wendy.